Nitish Kumar took oath as the Chief Minister of Bihar today for a record 8th time, forming a government with Tejashwi Yadav's Rashtriya Janata and other parties as part of a new Mahagathbandhan or Grand Alliance. RJD's Tejashwi Yadav will be his Deputy Chief Minister. But what really pushed Nitish to take this step? And actually the big question today, that is Nitish now a contender in the next general elections in 2024. What's the bigger picture here? Before we get to that, let me just play out for you a very interesting soundbite from Nitish Kumar today.
नहीं हम किसी चीज के उम्मीदवार का हम कोई दावेदारी नहीं, लेकिन इतना तो जरूर कर दीजिए ना कि 14 में जो आए 24 तक के आगे रह पाएंगे कि नहीं रह पाएंगे वो अपना समय.
So he was asked that, are you a contender for the Prime Minister in the typical Nitish style? He said, no, I'm not any contender, but asked those who came in 2014 whether they will be able to stay beyond 2024. Now, what do you read in that? Sanjeev, Srivastava and Amitabh Tewari, both political commentators, are joining me on the show for more on this. Sanjeev, I'll come to you first. So it's unlikely that Nitish Kumar will ever come and say, yes, I'm a prime ministerial candidate 2 years in advance. But do you think that he has pretty much thrown his hat in the ring and is one of the contenders?
I don't think anybody throwing their hat from the opposition side really makes much of a difference, because the opposition is just too many cooks. So the opposition has to come up with a consensus candidate. And that churning or that manthan will take a while as to who they will decide on. Right now, there are 3-4 very obvious names: Mamata Banerjee, KCR, Arvind Kejriwal, and now Nitish Kumar. So, and to some extent, maybe in the second rung, Akhilesh Yadav, because he represents a big state. So now amongst these 4 or 5 leaders, whom do they settle on ultimately? Nitish Kumar is a strong name and will be a strong contender, largely because he comes from one of the politically most crucial, sensitive, and trend-setting state of the country, Bihar. Bihar has set trends many times in the past of the national polity, and he is an acceptable, or at least if not acceptable, a known face across the cow belt. Something which a Mamata Banerjee or a KCR can't claim. So it will be interesting how things play out. But I was speaking to a senior Congress leader a couple of days back before all this happened, and he said that it will be very interesting if we can have someone like a Nitish Kumar, because there will be a Bihari connect. And what he said next was even more interesting. Just like if there is a Gujarati diaspora which roots for the Gujarati strongman, there is a Bihari diaspora across the country and world, if you may. And they may connect with a Bihari face. So let's see. This is right now a subject of much conjecture, speculation.
That is true. That is true. So, it is a subject of much conjecture. Yeah. It's all speculation. We're away, some while before the next general elections, and we have to see what unfolds. But Amitabh Tewari, just talking about what we're seeing today, Nitish back as Chief Minister with a different partner, the same set of partners that he ditched in 2017 and who he fought the elections with in 2015. But it doesn't seem to have made a difference to him. He still continues to stay in power. Do you think that this is going to impact his image electorally? Because this is not the first round of flip-flops.
Yeah, I think it does impact his image electorally, and more so nationally. I would say outside of Bihar, it does impact his image if he is nursing prime ministerial ambitions. However, in the state of Bihar, he has carved for himself a niche vote bank, which consists of his own caste and MBCs, EBCs, and Mahadalits. And for them, he still continues to be a popular or a charismatic leader who has brought a lot of development for the socially backward people. See, he has a rivalry with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's be clear about that. In 2013, when he first ditched NDA, he ditched that because Modi was going to be announced as the prime ministerial candidate of BJP. So he somehow feels that a person with 12 years of experience, and he feels that he is senior to Modi, and he, being a 17-year chief minister from a politically dominant state, from a Hindi belt, he has not been able to achieve that ambition. So now in his last leg of political career, because he is 71 and by the next elections he should be 75 years of age, he is playing a dice sort of, and he has a rivalry. So he is a sort of an egoistic person who does not forget things easily. So to a certain extent, he or JDU are right in the sense that the seats of JDU declined from 71 to 43 primarily because LJP or Chirag Paswan damaged JDU in 28 seats to be exact. So what he feels is that BJP somehow has made a two-stage plan to
was that a big secret?
Was
that a big secret though in Bihar, Amitabh? Because I mean, the BJP is very clear that it will grow nationally, regionally in every section of the country, which it has a right to do as a political party. Now, whether that's at the cost of their ally or not is secondary, isn't it?
Yeah. So see, it's all about timing. So he has timed it at a time when there is a lot of talk about unemployment, price rise in the country. There is a talk about an opposition trying to cobble together an alliance against Narendra Modi. So it is all about timing in politics. If he would have done that in 2020, people would have said he has betrayed the mandate. So now it is 2 years, people have forgotten about the mandate now. Correct. So he sees this as an opportune time probably. You have reduced my strength from 71 to 43, but I'll be the chief minister. I'll continue to call the shots. I will not give BJP the right to be the larger partner or the bigger brother in the alliance. And RJD for him is a party which he feels he can manage. So see, he is an ex-Janata Dal leader. He has roots in Janata Dal. Right. It is also a question about whom does he want to pass the legacy, his legacy of an OBC leader in Bihar.
Is Nitish thinking about his successor, or is thinking about the next step for himself? I mean, 70s is not that old in Indian politics, is it, Sanjeev?
Yeah, I agree with most things.
He is very much around the same age group as the other possible contenders.
Or the incumbent.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a couple of years here and there. The only thing is that some people have maintained themselves better. So, the issue is what Amitabh just now said. Yeah, I agree with most of his observations, except a couple of things which I don't completely agree, but it's a different viewpoint. That I don't think Nitish is the kind of polarized polity we see in the country today. It really doesn't matter that whether he's a palturam or opportunist or a political great man at timing and taking the right step at the right time. It doesn't affect anybody's credibility. Nothing affects anybody's credibility anymore in Indian politics. We are so polarized. You're either for the so-called BJP-led NDA or you are for the so-called secular alliance or the opposition. So it really doesn't matter. That's one. And I also personally don't think he's too much bothered about legacy, because legacy you only think largely in terms of you have your own children, at least in the Indian context. So somewhere, yes, but he has had a running battle with Mr. Modi, which everybody knows about. But then he has had a running battle with Lalu Prasad Yadav. They have actually been more vitriolic.
Sanjeev is of survival. He has had a running battle with Mr. Modi and Mr. Lalu Yadav, but in one of those scenarios, he still survives. In the other, he becomes politically irrelevant.
If we are talking about survival, who is a better survivor? For 8th or 9th time, he has been sworn in today as the chief minister.
Oh, absolutely.
So he is the greatest survivor. And why he is the biggest survivor? Because on the one side, there are two principal poles to Bihar polity. One is RJD, the MY combination, Muslim Yadav. Another is the upper caste, Brahmin, or the Hindu vote, or whatever you want to describe the BJP, the urban thing. But he, with his, between 5 to 8% votes, it fluctuates. What Amitabh just now said is the Ati Pichda and Kurmi and all of that. He has managed to remain both the king and the kingmaker. So which Bihar is governed by the party which Nitish Kumar supports. So he has positioned himself so smartly And nobody has an answer to that. Neither the BJP
but
as of now.
on the national level front, because now the story, in a sense, a day later and on the day of his oath taking, has moved to the question of, does he have national ambitions? Is he a national contender? In that context, Amitabh, I want you to comment on something Sanjeev said earlier about the Bihari diaspora and the parallels being drawn to Modi pre-2014. Now, Modi came with the Gujarat model as a sort of an example of what he may do nationally. In Bihar, it is a question of Nitish doing something relatively better than the earlier dispensation. But there is no Bihar model as such, is there? That can be sold nationally as something that Nitish would be capable of. I mean, the development plank in any election right now is very, very strong. Does Nitish sit in with that narrative?
See, I think if you recall the 2015 election, Modi made a comment about the Bihar DNA, and that was one of the primary reasons for the loss of BJP, despite winning handsomely in 2014 Lok Sabha election. So Bihari Asmita, like Gujarati Asmita, and I agree with Sanjeev ji here, is a very, very important point. And the entire Bihari diaspora may back him if he becomes the prime ministerial face of the opposition because of the Bihari pride factor. Second is, he may not have a Bihar model of development per se, but Bihar, of course, has grown from a small base, and the base effect has impacted the high GDP growth rates during his tenure. But he has developed a socially workable model in a highly polarized state like Bihar. And the law and order situation has tremendously improved under his tenure in Bihar. So whoever goes to Bihar now could see some development relatively higher than what was earlier. And the law and order situation is fairly good. And he speaks Hindi. Hindi is a language which ultimately competitors, because he can converse in a language which
I want
is
you to make that
understood
point
by,
again, Amitabh, because your voice froze. He speaks in Hindi. Can you just make that point again?
So he speaks in Hindi, and therefore he caters to a larger audience, a larger northwestern central audience, which other competitors like Mamata Banerjee or KCR lack. However, he's also a very shrewd politician. He understands that Tejashwi and RJD are trying to push him to the national stage so that a space is created for them for the CM chair in the state. So he would not also want to be a Bali ka Bakra candidate like the vice president or the presidential candidate. So he is very shrewd like Sharad Pawar. So he will go with something only when there is a very concrete offer on hand, and most of the political parties support him because he still feels that Bihar is his karm bhumi in that sense, and he may not still want to give away the grip he has on the state to anybody else.
Absolutely. Fascinating conversation there. He doesn't want to be
one comment
Balika
I'd like
Bakra.
to make.
Yes, please.
The moot point which we are missing is that till yesterday, any time when politics happened or a game happened, or other than the Bengal elections and odd things like that, the khela always benefited the BJP. Whether it was Goa or Maharashtra or anything happening anywhere, whoever wins elections, whoever loses, ultimately the government was formed sooner or later of the BJP. The BJP was a juggernaut which seemed unstoppable. Suddenly with this Bihar change, one swallow doesn't make a summer.
Yeah.
But 2024 looks more interesting than it was looking day before yesterday.
Well, so much happens in just a short time in politics. 40 days ago, Uddhav Thackeray did not know what hit him. 40 days ago, Uddhav Thackeray did not know what hit him. 24 hours ago, maybe Nitish figured he didn't want to be the next Uddhav and pulled the rug out from under that government. We don't know what's going to happen 2 years.
Can't underestimate the importance of Bihar. The NDA got 37, 38 seats out of 40 last time.
Absolutely.
With this current equation,
we don't know.
I don't want to wager any guess.
It's going to be an interesting space to watch, and something that we'll definitely discuss again. Thank you so much, Amitabh, Tewari and Sanjeev, for joining us on the show.
Thank you.